Hello everyone, welcome in or welcome back. It's lovely to see you again and happy December! Today is December 2nd and let's hope that this month is going to be a good one. So back in August, I had placed a pretty big pre-order. From the little postcard in front of me, you may recognize this to be the Minty Fantasy Forest series. This BJD blind box is from Comfort Arts, and if you have not seen them before, then they have some familiar names under their belt, such as having done Bonnies. This one is a season 2 Bonnie. The quality from Comfort Arts is very good. So when I saw this new series under their belt, I was very interested. And I think if you are a fan of Lolita style designs and clothing, then this blind box series might be for you. How many did I order? I have the whole set. And not only do I have the whole set, but in a following package that I'm still waiting for, I do have the general hidden and the secret hidden. So I believe what I'm going to end up doing here is, in this video, we're going to cover the base set of 6, and in follow-up video, I will do the hanging card, the Flamingo hanging card, the bonus purple cat that was available for the Modian funding, and the 2 secret hiddens. In addition, I will go ahead and cover all of the bonuses and everything that came with the box in that follow-up video so that this video doesn't end up being 2 hours long. So let's take a closer look at the individual box so that we can take a general look over our cast and check out all of the art that's on the single boxes. So here is the single box, and on the front features the cat design. The general theme for this series is a forest animal tea party. So they have all come together to organize a little afternoon tea party, and they invite you to explore the depths of the forest with them. So here's everyone who is invited to the tea party. I will go ahead and refer to them by their species name. We have the cat, the bear, the rabbit, the snow leopard, the fox, the lamb, the squirrel, and the secret hidden, I believe, is sort of a moon fox or like a fox witch. I think that's supposed to be the general vibe. Now, I do think all of the designs are very pretty. I think for me, the ones I'm looking the most forward to are the cat and the fox. But with all of that done, let's go ahead and see who the first one in our box is. 1, 2, 3. Oh, cool. Okay, seems like this is the fox first. Here's the character card. It is almost like an ID card, and it's a clear plastic. The art on the card is really cute, and I like the trail of apples. They really did a lot to encompass that afternoon forest hangout feeling, and I think that's really cute. But there she is. I think the taller proportion on them is quite cute. Unfortunately, all of my 10Ks are rebodied, so I don't have anything to directly compare with them in terms of their height. But that said, here's the Minty next to their Bonnie series, and they're substantially taller and much skinnier. 2 parts for the hair as usual. So here's the inside of the head. It comes with a clear plate that holds the eyes in place, and you can see the eyes just sitting inside that little spot there. And they pop out very easily. So I just swapped the head over using the neck card that already comes with Minty's, and it does seem like they hold on to the Bonnie head pretty well. The taller Bonnie is pretty cute. The neck card is shaped just ever so slightly differently. If you are looking to put a Bonnie on here, it's probably better to use their own neck card. In the back hairpiece, you can see a couple magnets on the top of the head here. That's going to be used to keep our headband in place. For points of articulation, we have the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, the neck, the torso, the waist, legs, there's thigh swivel, the knees, and the foot. Interesting to note about the Minties, there does appear to be a wire or twist tie of some sort inside that is making their torso a little bit stiffer to pose. That wire seems to run through most of their body. At the moment, it doesn't seem terribly invasive, but I can't imagine it leaving marks and scuffs on the inside, so please do be mindful as you pose them, and I think it is a viable option to take them out. I would prefer stringing that doesn't need to rely on the wires, but I wonder if they opt to try that for more stability in trying to make a taller body this time. So as far as the base doll goes, her hair is tied off into this tall, short ponytail, and the detail on the hair sculpting is really quite cute. She has a small headband that sits underneath her layer of bangs here. She has the middle part for her hair, and on that headband are 2 decorative pieces, one being a bow and the other one kind of being a yellow circle, though it does kind of look like a corn kernel. For her face, her eyebrows are in a dark pink that kind of match the color of her hair, but it is a little bit more pink toned. The details on the face are generally drawn in a brown to pink / red tone there, and that goes for the eyelashes, the eye creases, the mouth, around the eyebrows, and so on. There's a couple little scuffs on one side of her face, and on the other is a little paw print. I've been worried about whether or not you could remove the decals on their face without damaging the blushing, but it seems like they don't have too much, so I think it may be easy to actually remove the paw print if that's not what you're wanting for your doll. Her eyes are pretty nice and bright red. It's just There is one white highlight in the upper left. Her pupil is lighter than the rest of her eye, and the eye highlight at the bottom is just slightly more tan. I do think that the dark red they chose is very, very pretty. So they do come with quite a few hand options, which I think will make them quite fun to mess around with. She comes with the fox hand symbol, and that comes in a pair of left and right. She has a pointed finger, a pair of peace signs, little closed fists, hands that are slightly more open, and I think these are teeny tiny little finger hearts. She did also come with a tiny little silicone piece, but I'm not really sure over what joint this is supposed to go. So let's take a look at all of the clothing pieces she comes with. Here is the fox headband, 2 fox ears on the top that match her hair color, a pink and yellow bow in the middle, with the middle being a heart. There is a teeny tiny little fox with an X on it, and some bells and other beads here, 1 yellow and 1 green. The overall headband is this light beige color, and there are magnets underneath so that it can comfortably sit on her head like so. For her shoes, she has 2 little flats in that dark red color with little green bows and flowers in the middle, the flowers being something of a brown yellow color, and the bottom is also sort of a mustard yellow color. She comes with a pair of white socks with a frill on top. Her dress is all one piece. From the underparts that we can see, it is a bright red with kind of light yellow tan colored frills on the neck and the ends of the sleeve. The bulk of the dress is this grid pattern, and there is a yellow puff ball in the middle with a green tail of bows there. In the center sits a large red bow matching the base color of her dress. And on the bottom is a pattern made of various ginkgo leaves, red apples, green apples, foxes, and they sit under this illustrated printed part of a yellow frill with red bows. There's nothing too special on the backside. The patterns just meet up for completion. Her tail is very, very cute. It is gigantic and really well stuffed. The base of the tail is this light pink salmon color, and the end of the tail is a dark brown. Finally, she comes with a purse that has a gold and pearl chain, and at the base is a donut. And it is a plain donut glazed with chocolate and perhaps caramel with sprinkles on top. And of course, the sprinkles do match the color palette of red, brown, and greens. Let's get her dressed up. So there's our fox all dressed up. Oh my god, I actually really love the way the tail looks. It's so fluffy. So in case you're wondering how to put on the tail, I flipped it around her waist and then velcroed around the little elastic there. I think the colors of her dress seem more saturated on camera, but I think that they do actually match together quite nicely with the different tones of red in her design itself. I think I would have liked the tail to match with her hair color a little bit better. It seems very, very bright for her actual hair color, and in that way it clashes just slightly with the different tones of red on her. I do think it looks quite cute overall. The other thing that I didn't love was the socks just seem slightly wrinkly and frumpy to me when they're actually on. It's hard to describe exactly why. I'm not sure if I didn't put them on nicely according to the seams, but I feel like they're a little lumpy. But those are quite minor complaints, but quite a cute first character for us to get. They did have a pre-order outfit that was Red Riding Hood inspired that I think looked absolutely cute on her, and I'm kind of disappointed that I wasn't able to get it. In her default outfit, I think she's quite pretty. I think all of the different aspects of the design come together to make a very pleasant and relaxing feeling doll. I don't think I pointed it out, but her little fang in her mouth is really cute. So let me go ahead and set her off to the side for now, and we'll go take a look at our second character. So here's our second box, and let's see who's inside. That's cute that we got the one that the fox kind of shares a similar design with, but it seems like we opened the squirrel next. Here's her character card, which rather than being red toned is yellow, and on the bottom there are acorns and mushrooms. Very cute. If anyone knows where these little silicone guys are supposed to go, I would love to know. So compared to the fox, the squirrel's hair is much lighter in color. Her hair is also tied up in that tall ponytail. Much like the fox, the tips of the side hair does go into a slightly lighter color, and rather than having the bow on top, she has little flowers and a butterfly. The butterfly is white and the flower is yellow with a brown spot in the middle. For her face, her eyebrows are much longer than the fox's. Her details on her face are drawn in more of a light brown color that lean towards a yellow, and she has a couple extra decorations on her face. So there's an acorn on the left side. She does not have the scuffs the fox has. Instead, there is a little bit of a yellow-toned blush, a flower that is in the corner of her right eye, and a bow that is in the corner of her left eye. On her bottom eyelash line are 2 little white circles, and for her eyes themselves, they are kind of an orange color, the pupils being yellow, and the highlights being an orange and yellow fade at the bottom. On the base of the head plates, they do also have pointed ears. Here she is with her headband. So for the headband part, the squirrel ears are actually flocked for this one. The main part of the headband is white, and there are pink and yellow decorations across them, including pink ribbons on both sides. There is a yellow bow on the middle. The animal parts for the squirrel lean more towards a sandy color, so her ears are a sandy brown with white in the middle. For her tail, it is also kind of a sandy ashy color of brown with lighter and darker parts to it. Her shoes are primarily yellow with a pink bow on top and a yellow flower in the middle that has a little brown speck in the center. And the bottom of the shoes are kind of a red-toned brown. Once again, they come with white socks. For the dress itself, it is constructed a little bit differently from our fox from before. The base of the dress is yellow and is covered in some sprinkles of pink, orange, white, and brown. Once again, they do have that bow in the center there that is a little yellow pom-pom with pink ribbon, and she has two tiny little buttons underneath them. The collar of the dress and the sleeves have a white frill. The center of the dress has a bright pink bow, and the pattern for the dress starts much higher than the fox's. So on it we can see some different vines, a squirrel, acorns, mushrooms, little orange polka dots. On the bottom here, there is a pink frill, and the underskirt is this layer of brown fabric, pleated, and there are little pink bows on each side of the skirt. For her donut accessory, hers is a vanilla donut with the glaze on top being orange, yellow, and a chocolate drizzle. I think the open mouth expression for this one is really quite cute. I'm glad that they all have different face detailing and that some of them have different expressions. I don't mind dolls that have the same expression for the sake of consistency, but I do think that it makes each one feel a little bit more unique when they do get unique faces as opposed to reusing the same face. So here is our squirrel all dressed up, and I do like that the dress construction is a little bit different between her and the fox, despite the fact that they have the same hair mold. The fact that they have different faces, a different headband, unique dresses, the different colored tails, I think still makes them quite unique to each other. And I think they actually look very, very cute next to each other because there are some similarities between them. I think the fox eyes are also slightly more sharper, whereas the squirrel eyes are a little bit more rounded. Between the two, I think I do like the fox better, but the squirrel gives a very nice, youthful appearance that I think is very charming in its own right. So far, I think the scale of doll has also been very endearing. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and this is the sheep. Now, the sheep, I think, has one of the most unique faces in the lineup, so this one will be quite interesting to see. Here's her character card, primarily themed around blue. There's some candy on the bottom where the other ones had the mushrooms, the leaves, and so on. One of the most unique dolls of the baseline, I believe. Here's the sheep. So starting with her hair, it starts as this dreamy blonde orangey tone and fades off into a light blue-white. On the back sides are a number of braids leading up into a giant blue bow, and the base of the braids end up fading into that blue color as well. Her hairstyle is really, really detailed, and I really like the sculpting for each of these. In the upper left, you can see there are 2 little blue clips, and on the upper right are something of 2 little red leaves. So the details of her face are actually drawn in something of a purple color. There are little white swirls on the bottoms of her cheeks there. Her eyebrows are small and blobbish, and her eyelashes are thick and white and purple. And the way that the eyelashes are drawn are reminiscent of clouds, which I think plays nicely into the dreamy sheep kind of archetype that we're seeing here. So the eyes themselves are a pinkish purple with yellow-orange kind of fading into the highlight at the bottom. The pupils themselves are a light pink, and there is the white highlight at the top. Her shoes are a little bit unique compared to the other two. Whereas they had a flatter heel, hers has slightly more of one, and the bulk of the shoe is blue. The bottoms are white, there's a white strap that goes around them, and a yellow bow at the very top. For her headband, it actually does feature the ram horns, which I like quite a bit. There are flocked little palms on the ends of the headbands there. It kind of repeats the scalloped pattern for the edges here that we saw in her eyelashes, which I think, again, kind of helps bring forward that feeling of clouds. The bows at the base of the horn are yellow and pink, with the pink being in the back side of the bow as well as the centerpiece. For the lamb ears themselves, they are also a little bit flocked and fade out to pink towards the ends of them. Her dress is also a little bit different from the others, and she has this sort of center frill area here. She has the yellow palm and 2 blue buttons. The whole dress is more of I think this is gingham or a checker pattern to it, in white and blue. Cute little lambs with their eyes closed and wearing a bonnet, alongside some pink and white tulips, a pink and white candy cane, and that pattern repeats on the backside as well. Her dress is a little bit more simple, but it does also have the underskirt with a pink lining just on the edge there. Despite her dress being a little bit more simple compared to the other ones, I think the pattern really stands out on this one. Her tail is a big fluffy puffball, all in white. It does seem a little bit more like a rabbit tail than a sheep one, but still very cute nonetheless. She has the 2 little white socks. And for her accessory of choice, it is something of a cream waffle or cream cookie, white cream, and a little red bow there. And the shape is more like a bunny. Since Comfort Arts does make a whole ton of clothing, the quality of the clothing also feels quite nice here. I'll say I think the plastic of these bodies don't feel quite as nice as the Bonnies. I'm not sure if it's because the really light colors and the motif of lambs and bunnies throughout her design, but for some reason she just looks like such a cute representation of what comes to my mind when I think of Lolita cords. Like, she's just so freaking cute. I kind of wish that they had something to decorate their wrists. With all the detail that is in the rest of them, their wrists feel a little naked with how skinny they are, but I do think that this one is so cute and such a sweet way to incorporate all of these motifs into her design. I'm really glad that they kept the ram horns in there. I think that's a really cute touch and adds a lot more detail to the headband as opposed to just having the lamb ears. I like her a lot more than I thought that I would. She was one of the ones that I didn't, even though I thought that she had a very unique hair sculpt and face design, she was probably one of my least favorites from the set, but I think she's really cute. She's very pretty, and I think the short hair is, like, she just looks very fluffy and soft. So I feel like they achieved the imagery of a lamb really well here. Before we open this one, we're now about halfway through the set, and I would love to know what you guys are thinking of the series so far. Execution of the dresses, the characters, the dolls, the different faces, I would love to know what you guys think so far. Opening up our 4th box. 1, 2, 3. So the 4th character we've opened up is the rabbit, who is very pink. So here is the rabbit character card, featuring her doing a little peace sign, and on the bottom is green with a bunch of little carrots. She has something of a messier haircut than everyone else, slightly choppier bangs, and she has this little side ponytail. Her hair is kind of a light pink or white color that fades off into a darker pink, and she has a little bow at the very top that is kind of reminiscent of a piece of candy, colored in blue there. Here's her little stray hair piece, and it has a little peg tucks into her hair like so. I'm glad I was able to find it. I think the hole in the top of her head would have been bothering me forever. For her face, she has 2 really tiny little eyebrows that are slightly more upturned. There's a little bunny and a green dot in her eyelashes, which are drawn in a warm kind of orangey brown color. There's a little carrot on her cheek, just a little bit of orange decorating her lower lash line, and she has a pretty timid little smile. And for her eyes, they are bright pink. Her eye highlights are little bunnies. The inside of her pupil is a lighter pink, and her eye highlight is also mostly a lighter pink and white. For her ear headband, it is primarily a bright pink color. The ears are flocked with little palms at the ends of her ears, and one of her ears is also bent over. There is a little orange bow and an orange carrot sitting on the sides of the headband there. Her shoes are in the same style as the lamb shoes, a little bit more of a heel. The heel and undershoe is white. The shoe is otherwise primarily this bright pink color with an orange band and a green bow on top. As always, 2 little white socks. Her tail is pretty similar to the lamb one. Looking at them side by side, there is actually a little bit of a difference, with the lamb tail being a little bit shorter and a little more scruffy, and the rabbit tail is a little bit more fluffy. Her dress is similar to the lamb's, but does not actually have poof sleeves, so there's this center area here with a yellow pom and green ribbon underneath it. And underneath those are 2 little pink buttons. This area is white, but there is a pink frill on the top and along the edges of that spot. The dress is primarily pink with some little white dots, some bows and carrots, and some little twin rabbits decorating the pattern on the bottom. The bunnies are so cute. I love seeing the different animals on their patterns. It is so stinking cute. And to wrap it all off, there are 2 green bows on the bottom and pink frill on the end. For her little accessory, she has a little bear cookie that is vanilla flavored. There is a bit of cream on the inside and a brown bow at the top, and two little black eyes there. Okay, so I think the little eye highlight there does vary a little bit across all of them. It's a little hard to see, but I think the fox's is an apple. Squirrel's appears to be an acorn. As we saw, the bunny has the rabbit one, and the sheep has a little twinkle. That's a pretty cute little detail. Well, let's get the rabbit dressed up now. I was going to talk about this detail in the follow-up video where I talk about the various bonuses, but I think it's important enough to bring up here too. The front and back pieces are interchangeable, by the way, and they do fit together very flushly without any gaps. So there was a delay bonus, or delay gift, that gave a blank copy of every hair, but if you are looking to use these as customs, they are a stellar choice in the fact that you can mix and match their hairstyles. There is the bunny all dressed up. Perhaps due to her lack of sleeves, I feel like she encompasses a spring feeling a lot more than the other ones do, and I think perhaps due to the bright pink color as well and the tinges of green in her design. Her hairstyle is probably my least favorite among everyone, just because I'm not super fond of the choppy style bangs, but it does look quite cute on her. And I think so far her dress pattern might be one of my favorites alongside the sheep's. A very spring-coated doll. Okay, we're down to our last two. 1, 2, 3. Oh! Stellar, this is the cat! This is one of the ones I was the most excited for. So here is her character card, and on the bottom is something of a picnic blanket along with the book, some tea or coffee, and a quill and ink. Her character design looks very gentle. So she is, I think, the only doll in our baseline with very long hair, and her hair is mostly a gray color that fades off into a slightly darker gray-purple at certain parts. The ends of her hair is going back to that lighter color at the top. So her side hair here is chopped off more bluntly. Her actual bangs themselves are quite pointy. She does also have a few clips on the side of her hair there, one being a pair of pink ones and then one single purple one. So she does have 2 upturned eyebrows. Her eyelashes are little cats, and they have little cat ears on each of the far sides there. And they also have little cat ears on the inner corners. There's also a little sparkle and a little dot in those upper eyelashes of hers, and they're drawn in something of a gray-black color. She has a little cat expression, a little cat woo with little fangs peeking out, tiny little whiskers on her cheeks, and a small fishbone that just goes across her nose there. Her upturned eyebrows give her a little bit more of a worried look, but they're very cute. And her eyes are sort of this soft, muted pink-brown color, with the upper highlight being little bows. Her inner pupil is pink, and the highlights are pink as well. For her cat headband, most of the headband is actually flocked, and there's a tiny little tail here between the ears. The whole thing is kind of a light gray color to match with her hair, and on the sides is a yellow bow, pink bow, and another yellow bow on the side there. As always, 2 little socks. Her shoes are different than the shoes that we've seen previously, with most of it being purple, the bottoms being white, and in the back are also white bows. I would assume that the last one that we have yet to open probably has the same shoe sculpt as well. Her little purse is a chocolate bear with a little vanilla bow on the top and 2 little black eyes and some frosting in between. So her dress style does not have the underskirt. It has the little frill collar here where it is mostly white, yellow palm, purple buttons, frill on the collar and on the edges, frills also on the cuffs of the sleeve. The bulk of the dress is this light purple color. On the pattern are some stripes, teacups, looks like little scones or muffins, and a cute little cat. And the cat has a purple bow with dots, a little frill around its neck. Oh my gosh, a second one. There's 2 cats and the tail's on the ground. There's kind of a scalloped pattern on the very bottom of the dress with little hearts inside. More cats on the back, and the pattern is fairly consistent and simple with this one. Finally, just a little trim of frills on the bottom and little yellow bows. Her tail is completely white, and unlike the other ones, this one actually does have an armature inside for posing. Not that they come with a whole ton of parts for their outfit, but dressing them up so far has been pretty easy. And here's our lovely cat all dressed up. I think the incorporation of making her colors more muted compared to the other dolls and also adding purple to it does give her a little bit more of an elegant and softer tone to her character. I think this way of the sheep also. I think their colors being just a little bit more softened compared to the other dolls definitely adds to the characterization for them. All of the grays seem to have a little bit of a purple undertone to them, which I think ties nicely to the dress. And of course, I really like each of the little cookie bags that they all get. I think so far her pattern on her dress may actually be my least favorite, as it feels like the cats aren't really nicely distributed on this pattern. Kind of too being eaten up by the frilling, and then the other one's getting eaten up a little bit by the tail and the Velcro. But regardless, I think overall her design is probably my favorite among all of them. Given all the other ones so far, this one is going to be the bear. There she is. So it seems her colors are primarily going to be green and brown. Here is her character card, themed primarily green, with a little baker's desk on the bottom, rolling out some bread with a whisk and some honey and flour. So here's the base doll, and her hair is tied up into 2 pigtails, which are so cute. I mean, I think I've said it like in every single one of these doll videos when there's been a character with twin tails, but those are my favorite designs, and the hairstyle is winning me over quite nicely. Her hair is primarily brown, but there are orange tints to it that further fade off into yellow. She has a little yellow bow for each of her twin tails there, and then she also has a little yellow cloud clip, which almost looks like a little bread. But for her face, she has pretty standard looking eyebrows. Her eyelashes also have little bears on them, which are very cute. On her cheeks, she has a couple different decals. She has a little pink bow on this side and a little bear one on the other side. Her mouth is open and she's drooling just ever so slightly, and then her eyes are green, with the highlights looking like they're either little bears or little hearts. They're a little bit too tiny for me to see. And the inner pupil is light green, and the highlight at the bottom is also light green. Her headband is also alongside with Fox's, the only other one who is not flocked. Interestingly enough, the puffy style of bear ear they give her almost makes them look like they're more like filled up. And this one has a little nipple taken out, so it's also a biscuit. So they match the brown color of her hair and also have the yellow that is at the very bottom of her hair. The headband itself is mostly brown. There's a light beige colored bow in the center, a green bead there, and yellow bows on each side. Her dress is also of the sleeveless variant. She has the yellow palm, the green ribbons. That little center area is white with white frills around the collar and the trim. She has a bit of a gingham pattern with a little chocolate bear sitting very politely on the bottom, as well as some honey, some donuts, some chocolate, and that pattern goes all the way around. There's also some light green and just some darker green dots, which I think symbolize there being grass on the bottom of the pattern, and finally some white frills all along the bottom. Her tail is in the same texture and material as the sheep, white socks. She has the same shoe sculpt as the cat, and they are light green, with a white bow on the backside, and the underside is also white. For her little cookie accessory, it is also a brown chocolate one with a little bunny on it and some icing inside. It is just slightly annoying that when you pull on the arm, the wire's quite eager to pop out of the joints there. I think that since I am mostly using these dolls as display dolls, that they're not going to bother me too much with the wire inside, but I imagine that if you take your dolls out for posing and everything, while it may help them keep their poses better, it may also get in the way. Here's our last doll, the bear all dressed up, and I think out of everyone, she kind of surprised me the most with how cute she actually is in person. Her little drooling mouth was a little bit hit or miss for people in the community, and I think she is actually the most charming because of it. While the other ones are all very cute, the unique expression gives her a lot of personality. I kind of enjoy dolls that are a little bit neutral toned and are a little bit more subdued, and I feel like her simple dress, the simple pattern and everything just makes the charm of the doll itself really stand out compared to all the others. So I think she is actually quite a high contender for one of my favorites among this line. But let me go and line them all up together and let's have an overall discussion about the dolls and what I thought. Gosh, there are just so many of them. Oh, but looking at them all together like this in person makes me so happy. So I think as a whole, this doll line didn't really surprise me in any ways, but I think that they lived up quite nicely to their prototypes and photos that were shared. So I feel like when I got them in person, they all felt like, oh yeah, this is what I expected, which is definitely not a bad thing. If anything, that's quite a good thing. The wires inside their bodies do make them a little bit weird to pose, but I think that is in part due to being used to the way that other dolls are made, and I can see why they tried this attempt at putting in the wire to give them more stability in being a larger doll. That said, that does make them feel kind of stiff and also a little bit weird, so I can also see it being a viable option just to take it out. In terms of all of the designs, I think that it was a pretty smart move to have a couple different templates that are mixed and matched to give each character a different variety of items. So there's pretty much 2 of each of the shoes, there's 2 of each of the dress silhouettes. That said, each one does give them a unique characterization in the way that each of the tails have different colors and different textures, even between the fox who has the end of her tail a different color and the matching tail of the squirrel is lighter on one side and darker on the other. Each of the little accessories, the cookies and whatnot, do have different colorings to them that make them feel a little bit more unique from each other as well. Now, the dress silhouettes and the dress patterns in particular, I think are really, really cute and makes keeping them in stock quite endearing, I think. I think they'll look really pretty in other outfits, and I believe Comfort Arts is planning on releasing a couple designs that are specifically meant for taller dolls, and that includes fitting Minty's better. Each of the headbands having a different mold is pretty nice, and I like that they're also magnetized, meaning that you don't have to have an animal character if you don't want to. So I think that Comfort Arts offered a very solid concept with a very solid execution. It is a pretty nice one that I think is also welcoming to new people in the doll hobby, because I mean, it's animal characters with a Lolita spin and Tea Party aesthetic. Like, where can you go wrong with that, really? Really, the strangest thing about them was the different wires that are in their peanut joints and their body to keep them more stable. I think I would have preferred to see a larger doll body without it, since enough tension can hold them up. But I can also see that maybe these will be more top heavy, given that they also have the headband on top. That said, proportionally, I liked them quite a bit. Despite being on the taller end for 1/12 scale dolls, I feel like they don't take up a substantially larger amount of room compared to other dolls. As a whole, I'm very, very happy with how the set looks all together, and I'm really, really excited for all the hiddens to come in so that I can open all of the special releases with you guys. Those ones are going to be really, really fun, I think. I kind of went through these dolls pretty quickly, but I still hope that it was helpful to you guys. I did get these dolls from Cherry Goods, and they arrived safe and sound with all of the bonuses and everything, all nicely packaged, so I didn't have any issues with them when I opened up the box. So I highly recommend you check them out. They've been lovely to me so far. Now, with all of that said, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time, whether that be in a stream or a video. Okay, take care of yourselves. You guys are loved and everything. Bye!